Isaiah 1 through 39, which we looked at last week, ends with the prospect of Judah's fall to Babylon. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Days are coming when all that is in your house, and that which your ancestors have stored up until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord. Some of your own sons who are born to you shall be taken away. They shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon." Then Hezekiah said to Isaiah, "The word of the Lord that you have spoken is good." For he thought, "There will be peace and security in my days." Hezekiah is living at the very end of the 8th century when Assyria is the real problem, and Samaria has fallen to Assyria, and a number of Judahite cities have been destroyed by Assyria. And yet, there is another problem on the horizon, which is Babylon. But Hezekiah is relieved because that is a threat that he will not have to face. The book of Jeremiah contains prophecies and narrations from around 627 to 561 BCE. It is the second largest book in the Old Testament, only Psalms is bigger. But it should be said that the order and length of the book is significantly different in the Hebrew Bible and the Septuagint Greek translation, that the Greek is about 1/8 shorter. The prophecies about other nations comes in the middle of the Greek version, but near the end of the Hebrew. That two different versions existed can be shown in the fact that fragments of the Hebrew original of the Greek version have been found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as witnesses to the longer Hebrew version. It is roughly divided into two sections. Chapters 1 through 25 have more poetic oracles, 26 through 52 more biographical accounts. The historical setting is that Israel has fallen, but Assyrian power is on the wane. By the end of the 7th century, Judah has some independence, particularly under Josiah by 628, and is economically prosperous. Josiah has pressed for a return to the exclusive worship of Yahweh, supported by prophets Zephaniah and Jeremiah. This seems to have been partly due to the discovery of a Torah Scroll in the temple. The high priest Hilkiah said to Shaphan the secretary, "I have found the book of the law, Torah, in the house of the Lord." When Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, he read it. Then Shaphan the secretary came to the king and reported to the king, "Your servants have emptied out the money that was found in the house, and have delivered it into the hand of the workers who have oversight of the house of the Lord." Shaphan the secretary informed the king, "The priest Hilkiah has given me a book." Shaphan then read it aloud to the king. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Then the king commanded the priest Hilkiah, Ahikam son of Shaphan, Achbor son of Micaiah, Shaphan the secretary, and the king's servant Asaiah, saying, "Go, inquire of the Lord for me, for the people, and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that has been found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our ancestors did not obey the words of this book, to do according to all that is written concerning us." Subsequent to this, Nineveh, the Assyrian capital, falls to the Babylonians in 612. In 609, despite the fact that there was a prophecy concerning him which said that he would die in peace, King Josiah is killed in a military action designed to support the Babylonians against Assyria. Jehoahaz or Shallum is made king, but the Babylonians replace him with Jehoiakim, Eliakim. So the Babylonians are kind of on the march. In 605, the Babylonians defeat the Egyptians, Assyria's ally, at Carchemish in Syria, which means that Syria and Palestine passed to Babylonian control. So Babylon is right on the threshold of Judah. Jehoiakim rebels, the Babylonians invade Judah. Judah again rebels in 597, the Babylonians again invade. Jehoiakim dies. Jehoiakim, or Coniah or Jeconiah, becomes king as a teenager. The Babylonians invade Judah, deport the king, and replace him with Zedekiah, also known as Mattaniah. In 587, Zedekiah rebels. The Babylonians again invade, capture Jerusalem, and destroy the temple. The Judahites again rebel, kill the Babylonian governor, and flee to Egypt, taking Jeremiah with them. It should be noted that probably what Babylon really wanted was simply tribute, but with all the rebellions, they need to come and put the rebellions down, and so they continually invade. In all of this threat, we have a series of what are called ostraca. These are clay sherds, and on these that were found in Lachish, there are a series of letters going back and forth between the cities. In this one, it mentions that they cannot see the fire signals of Lachish according to the code which my Lord gave us, for we cannot see Azekah. These fire signals are signals that would have been sent to warn of an approaching enemy. When Judah falls and Jerusalem is taken by the Babylonians and destroyed, many among the upper classes are taken to Babylon, leaving behind the poor of the land. This is because the upper classes are the ones among whom would be expected those who would foment some kind of rebellion. And so they are neutralized by taking them to Babylon. However, Babylon does not do mass deportations as the Assyrians did. The people who are remaining remain a community, and they have still a kind of community with even those who have been taken to Babylonia in Egypt. So there is some kind of community that remains among the Judahites. It is among the Israelites who are moved all over the place in the Assyrian Empire that we talk about the lost tribes of Israel. They do not manage to maintain any kind of community. One of the most mysterious and tragic things to happen in all of this is that the Ark of the Covenant simply disappears. The return to Zion will not include it. You see a reference in Jeremiah 3:16. And nobody really knows what happened to it. Some traditions speak of Jeremiah hiding it. It is not mentioned in the looting of the temple in 2 Kings 25. And it is thought that maybe Jeremiah hid it on Mount Nebo. This is a tradition in the book of 2 Maccabees among the Apocrypha. Other traditions, for example, in the later work 2 Baruch, it is said to have been removed by an angel. along with other sacred objects and deposited in the earth. The sacred objects are removed by Jeremiah and Baruch and put in the earth according to 4 Baruch. But nobody really knows, and certainly it has never been found. Some of you may be too young, or maybe you've seen it on Netflix, but you have Indiana Jones and the Ark of the Covenant and the Lost Ark, I think it's called, where the Nazis try to find it, thinking that it will give them great power. And that movie is based upon these traditions that somehow the ark was hidden during the destruction of the temple, but we really don't know.